Breaking right now, the vile and despicable gang of internet trolls, the Sussex Squad, have invaded the Invictus Games, seem to be sitting behind Prince Harry and Meghan, and are now stalking and attacking and encouraging the police to arrest Tom Bower, the royal author who, of course, published the tell-all book about Meghan Markle.
Welcome, one and all, to the Sussex Ambassador channel. We're your dedicated source for all things Sussex, delivering the latest updates and analyses. If you haven't already, do remember to subscribe to stay in the loop. Now, today's discussion centres around a rather intriguing event. Tom Bower, a known critic of the Sussexes, was recently spotted at the Invictus Games 2025 in Canada. And surprisingly, Wooten has rushed to defend him. Stay tuned as we delve into the recent controversy surrounding Wooten's defence of Tom Bower. Recently, Tom Bower was seen lurking around the Invictus Games 2025 in Canada. Now, the Invictus Games, for those unaware, is an international sporting event for wounded, injured and sick servicemen and women, both active duty and veteran. It's a project close to Prince Harry's heart, a cause for which he has dedicated time and effort. So, you might wonder, why was Tom Bower there? An excellent question indeed. Bower was not there to cheer on these brave individuals or support the cause. No, he was there with a far less noble purpose. He was there, allegedly, to stalk Prince Harry and Meghan.
You are at Invictus.
Why I'm here?
Yeah, why are you at Invictus?
Just
Sure, really? Yeah? That's why you came to see? Or is it because you know Harry and Meghan were going to be here today? Yeah. Yeah, we've read the things you've wrote about them, especially Meghan. We've seen your book, we've heard about your book. So it's very interesting that you're at Invictus because we know why you're here. So why don't you tell the truth about why you're here? You came all the way from the UK and the UK press to Invictus in Canada just because you want to see it? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. But yeah, we know.
Yes, you heard that right. Tom Bower, a renowned journalist, was caught in the act of physically stalking the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. It's quite a turn of events, isn't it? Instead of using his platform to highlight the courage and resilience of the Invictus Games participants, Bower chose to use it to further his personal agenda against Prince Harry and Meghan. And what might this agenda be? Well, it seems to be a relentless pursuit of scandal and controversy, a desperate attempt to generate stories that paint the couple in a negative light. But why? Could it be a personal grudge? Or perhaps it's just a distasteful attempt to boost his ratings? Regardless of the reason, it's clear that Bower's actions were far from ethical. His actions have not gone unnoticed. There's been a significant backlash against Bower, and rightfully so. Stalking is not just unethical, it's illegal. It's a serious invasion of privacy and a blatant disregard for personal boundaries. It's something that should be condemned, not condoned. But here's the kicker. Not everyone sees it that way. There are those who have come to Bower's defence, arguing that he was merely doing his job. But is stalking part of a journalist's job description? I think not. This incident has rightly led to backlash against Bower, but surprisingly not everyone sees it that way. Enter Wooten, who has leapt to Bower's defence. Now, it's no surprise that Wooten has come to Bower's aid. Birds of a feather, after all, tend to flock together. But let's delve deeper into Wooten's defence, shall we? Wootton claims that Bower's presence at the Invictus Games was justifiable, nothing more than a journalist doing his job. He dismisses the criticism levelled at Bower, attributing it to the so-called Sussex Squad. But let's not be fooled by Wooten's attempt to paint Bower in a favourable light. Unpacking Wooten's argument, we find that it's riddled with inconsistencies. For instance, he conveniently overlooks the fact that Bower's journalism often toes the line of invasion of privacy. To suggest that stalking is part of a journalist's job is, quite frankly, an affront to the profession. Further, Wooten's defence doesn't hold water when we consider the context. The Invictus Games are an international sporting event for wounded, injured and sick servicemen and women. It's a platform for them to showcase their resilience and strength. Bauer's presence there, ostensibly to stalk Prince Harry and Meghan, is not just inappropriate, it's disrespectful. And let's not forget the main players in this narrative, Prince Harry and Meghan. Wooten seems to have a blind spot when it comes to their right to privacy. His defence of Bauer only underscores his disregard for the couple's well-being. But perhaps the most telling aspect of Wooten's defence is his alignment with Bauer. Wooten, like Bauer, has been vocal in his criticism of Prince Harry and Meghan. So it's not far-fetched to suggest that this defence is more about their shared bias than any genuine concern for journalistic integrity. Indeed, Wooten's defence of Bauer seems less about upholding the principles of journalism and more about endorsing a shared dislike for the royal couple. His alignment with Bauer serves to further his own narrative, which is steeped in bias and prejudice. It's clear that Wooten's defence of Bauer is more about their shared bias than any sense of fairness or justice. Let's face it, Wooten and Bauer are not exactly fans of Prince Harry and Meghan. They've made a sport out of stalking, criticising and spreading negativity about the couple. You might even say they've formed their own little haters club. But is it all in good fun? Or are we witnessing something far more unseemly? It's no secret that Tom Bauer was spotted in Canada, supposedly to watch the Invictus Games of 2025. But let's be real here, folks. The man wasn't there for the athletic spectacle. He was there to stalk Prince Harry and Meghan, to pry into their lives and generate more fodder for his vitriolic narratives. And what of Dan Wooten? Well, he's just as guilty, isn't he? Instead of condemning Bauer's actions, he leaps to his defence, proving that birds of a feather truly do flock together. It's a classic case of one hater protecting another, a testament to their shared disdain for the Sussexes. Their actions go beyond simple criticism. They've crossed the line into harassment, stalking, and invasion of privacy. This isn't journalism. It's a blatant disregard for professional ethics and a shocking abuse of their platforms. They've made it their mission to spread negativity, to paint the royal couple in the worst possible light. And for what? A few extra clicks? A momentary surge in popularity? It's petty, it's mean-spirited, and it's downright wrong. Wooten and Bauer have turned their platforms into a stage for their incessant hatred. They've used their influence not to inform or educate, but to spread unfounded rumours and perpetuate a cycle of negativity. Their actions reflect poorly on them, and it's time they were held accountable. It's time for us to call out their behaviour for what it is: a shameful display of unprofessionalism and bias. Let's not give them the satisfaction of engaging with their negativity. Instead, let's focus on the positive and leave the haters to their club. It's high time we call out people like Wooten and Bauer. Accountability, a word that seems to have lost its meaning in the world of journalism, especially when it comes to individuals like Dan Wooten and Tom Bauer. These two men have shown a blatant disregard for the principles that should guide their profession, instead choosing to engage in biased reporting and stalking individuals for their own gain. Stalking is a serious offence, and yet Tom Bauer was seen doing just that at the Invictus Games 2025, not to show support for the event or its participants, but to lurk around Prince Harry and Meghan, hoping to spin stories out of thin air. And when he faced backlash, instead of owning up to his actions, he found a defender in Dan Wooten. Now, let's talk about Dan Wooten. Instead of calling out Bauer's behaviour for what it was, he chose to defend it, proving once again his own lack of journalistic integrity. Their shared disdain for Prince Harry and Meghan is no secret, but to let it cloud their professional judgment to this extent is simply unacceptable. What we need to remember here is that journalists should be objective observers, not active participants with personal vendettas. Their role is to report on events truthfully, not to create them. This is a basic principle that seems to be forgotten by Wooten and Bauer. And so we must ask ourselves, do we want to support this kind of journalism? Do we want to give a platform to those who choose to ignore the basic tenets of their profession? It's time to vote with our clicks, our likes, our shares. Let's not feed into their narrative. We can demand better. We deserve better. Let's hold these individuals accountable for their actions and send a clear message to the rest of the world that we will not tolerate such unprofessional behaviour. Let's not give a platform to such biased and unprofessional behaviour. In conclusion, Wooten's defence of Bauer is not just misguided, it's wrong. The evidence is clear as crystal. Tom Bauer was not simply a spectator at the Invictus Games 2025. He was there with an ulterior motive to stalk Prince Harry and Meghan. His actions are not only intrusive, but also go against the ethical standards of journalism. Furthermore, Dan Wootton's defence of Bauer isn't a noble act of camaraderie, it's an act of condoning and supporting unethical behaviour. It's a testament to their shared disdain for the Sussexes, a membership card to the Haters Club. The media should not be a platform for personal vendettas, it should be a place for unbiased, factual reporting. Wootton's defence and Bauer's actions are not merely personal missteps, they're a blatant disregard for the principles of journalism, a disregard that we, as consumers of media, should not turn a blind eye to. Our call to action is for better standards in journalism, for more accountability from those who wield the pen and camera. It's time to say no to personal biases and yes to ethical and fair reporting. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. This is Sussex Ambassador signing off.